The Call of the Wild was written in 1903 by Jack London. It's considered a classic children's book, but I'm not sure it's appropriate for children. It has a lot of violent, bloody murders. I haven't seen the Disney movie, but I can guarantee they had to cut out at least half the book. Argofunk Book Review, Argofunk Book Review. Buck is a dog that lives a happy, relaxed life on a ranch. He's massive in size, being a mixture of St. Bernard and Scotch Shepherd. Thanks to the 1897 gold rush in Alaska, there's a huge demand for large dogs. Someone who needs easy money kidnaps Buck and sells him. Buck is wild with anger when he's taken up to Canada. He tries attacking the first human he sees, but the man beats him with a club. This happens repeatedly. Buck keeps attacking, and the man keeps bashing him in the head until his spirit is broken. Again, I'm not sure why this is considered a children's book. Yes, the main character is a cute dog, but it starts with the dog being kidnapped, going wild, then getting severely beaten. That's not family friendly. Buck is purchased by 2 government agents for a dog sled team. There's a grim scene where a nice dog named Curly tries to make friends with everyone. One of the dogs bites off half her face and murders her in front of a crowd, just for being nice. This teaches Buck that there is no room for niceness or morality in the wild. The only thing that matters in this harsh world is brute strength. The team leader is Spitz. He sees Buck as a potential rival, so he tries to kill Buck whenever he gets the chance. Buck challenges Spitz's leadership in small ways, and he goads the other dogs into rebelling. One night, Buck is overcome with bloodlust when he's chasing a rabbit. Right after this, he and Spitz begin their fight to the death. Spitz is more experienced, but Buck uses creative attacks to break both of Spitz's front legs. Buck takes joy in killing Spitz because he's the dominant primordial beast. Buck forces the humans to make him the leader of the dog sled team. He's a good leader. They set a record for crossing the long path at an average of 40 miles a day. Balto would be proud of him. The dog sled team is purchased by a man delivering mail, which is tough, heavy work. Traveling 2,500 miles with only 5 days of rest is unrealistic. Tragedy befalls a dog named Dave, who can no longer run with the others, but he refuses to stop trying. It's sad, and it reaches the point where Dave has to be killed. So the dog sled team is beyond exhausted when they're sold to a worthless trio of people made up of Hal, his sister Mercedes, and her husband Charles. They are comically incompetent, and they don't know anything about dog sled running. They don't even know basic, obvious things, like the sled won't move if it's frozen to the ground. They are hindered by the large amounts of useless junk they brought with them, and they regularly fight over completely irrelevant stuff. Like when Mercedes refuses to collect firewood because she hates the entertainment preferences of Hal's uncle. What? They quickly run out of food and go on low rations. Most of the dogs die. They eventually reach a river, where they're warned it's too dangerous to cross. Buck's strength gives out here, and he collapses on the ground. Hal starts beating him severely, ordering Buck to get back up, but Buck can't. A stranger named John Thornton steps in and stops Hal from beating Buck to death. Thornton has great timing, because less than 2 minutes later, all the incompetent humans and the dogs die in the river. Buck loves Thornton with a true, passionate love. Sometimes Buck hears the call of the wild and escapes to live in the forest, but every time, his love of Thornton pulls him back. Buck saves Thornton's life in a bar fight, and he saves his life again when he's caught in a deadly current. Buck's greatest accomplishment is pulling a sled which is loaded with 1,000 pounds, all by himself. This grand feat wins him fame, as well as a $1,600 bet. Now Thornton's got a lot of money, so he and his partners can go east and look for gold. They find an abandoned gold mine and spend several weeks mining the gold. Buck runs wild in the woods and transforms into an apex predator. He's such a masterful hunter, he's able to kill a moose. Buck returns to Thornton's camp, only to find Thornton and the others have all been killed by the fictional Yeehat tribe. Buck murders their chief and many of the warriors. Now that he's killed humans, Buck is fully wild. He finds a wolf pack and starts killing wolves until they make him their leader. He has many children, and he kills so many Yeehats over the years, they develop a legend about a murdering ghost dog that can never be defeated. The end. Post-book follow-up. So what's the death count in this book? High 20s, low 30s? The book is vaguely racist, everyone talks in phonetic English, and some of the humans are called half-breeds. There's not much material about the Yeehats, none of them speak at any point, but if they did, I'm pretty sure it would be offensive. It's left to readers' imaginations why they murdered Thornton and his crew. The story is in third person with simple language that's meant to convey a sense of realism. People disagree on the level of realism. The author was accused of being far too sentimental, of treating dogs like they have human emotions. I can see why some people would think that, but I think the book was so harsh and violent in general that any claims of sentimentality ring false. I can see why the book is popular. It's definitely well written, it's pretty dramatic, and there are heavy man versus nature themes that English majors love to analyze. While it's a good book, it's not the book for me. It's got far too much violence and dog murder for my tastes. Still, it's so good, it makes me want to read the pseudo-sequel, White Fang. I give Call of the Wild a 7 out of 10.